Now, there's obviously a reason why certain stories disappear overnight. Not because they're small, not because they're confusing either, but because if people actually sat there for just 5 minutes, a lot of folks with microphones will have to explain themselves. And right now, a few of them are real quiet.
So again, I have to call out this, and I'm going to continue to call it out, that there was complete silence. It has been complete silence from most black Hollywood and most of the black media. When I say black media, I'm talking about TMZ. I didn't see any articles about the Southern Poverty Law Center from TMZ yesterday. I'm calling them out right now. I'm calling out TMZ. I'm calling out Charlemagne the God. I'm calling out T.L. Hughley, and I'm going to continue to call out that racist, scandalous Roland Martin. I'm calling out Hollywood Unlocked with Jason, who's not a very nice person. I'm calling out all these people that y'all who normally have everything negative to say about Donald Trump every time he breathes wrong, but your favorite party, the Democrats, y'all saviors, y'all Jesus who died on the cross for y'all sins, the Democratic Party, the black pastors who I'm calling out, what's his name, Jamal Bryant. I didn't hear who's been calling us the KKK and the Ku Klux Klan, who's been calling us white supremacists. Jamal Bryant, where is your outrage that this civil rights organization was actually funding the KKK? They all silent. They ain't got nothing to say. You know why they ain't got nothing to say? Because it turns out the organization has been playing them like puppets on a string for like that. We've been telling y'all. Black conservatives and people on the conservative side have been telling y'all for a long time that the Democrats are playing y'all, that they got y'all like strings in a puppet, and y'all didn't believe us. Y'all thought that, no, we told y'all, because we are a lot smarter than y'all, because we actually use our brain. We don't just, we think for ourselves as black conservatives, because we realized that we were being lied to, that the Democratic Party has done nothing for black America, that we've been voting for them for 50, 60 years, and our communities are still in shambles. Our lives haven't changed at all, and that it's time for a change. Look like Chicago's a great girl, great young lady running in for mayor. They need to vote for who's running the public. Flip Chicago, right? But they might not, because this is what black people do. So I'm calling out all the race hustlers. Reverend Al Sharpton, what do y'all have to say? That's my question to the black community and to these charlatans. What do y'all have to say about the Southern Poverty Law Center, y'all precious organization funding the KKK?
Now, if you are not new here, you've probably seen this video play, but I had to make sure I started this particular topic off with that segment. See, this is where it gets interesting. Not loud, not dramatic, just inconvenient, because the same people who can turn a modern headline into a week-long segment certainly can't find the time. TMZ got time for everything under the sun. All these blogs, they got all the time in the world for the drama, the controversy, but not this. Breakfast Club got opinions on everything, but not this. It's not that they didn't see it. It's that touching it comes with a cost. And some people built their entire brand on never paying that cost. Now, while that silence is, sitting there, let me get this queued up for everybody. While that silence is out there sitting there, I'm going to play another video that we played previously, but I have to make sure I add nuance and context for everybody. You've got Al Sharpton stepping up, not to address any of that, but to talk about something else entirely. Again, clip farming, but we got this.
The voting rights decision by the Supreme Court on the Louisiana case is devastating. It shoots a bullet in the heart of voting rights that was gained through bloodshed and through all kinds of machinations to deny blacks and people of color the right to deal with the fact they were being racially excluded from voter protection and therefore their right to vote. In the statement made by Justice Kagan, she graphically laid out the grievous and dramatic way this will impact the electorate and therefore the citizens. All citizens have to pay the same taxes, but we will not have the same representation and the same protection for that. And I think that what has happened in this ruling really puts at risk the question of how we started the whole celebration of the 250th anniversary of the country. No taxation without representation, where they've just severely impacted blacks having the right for representation, but we still have equal taxation. We must, as we celebrate the country's anniversary, not go back to those times where blacks and others didn't have any rights that were to be protected.
You ever notice how fast the conversation switches when it's headed somewhere uncomfortable? We go from hold people accountable to protect the narrative at all costs. Because now it's not about what happened. It's about making sure the right people still sound like the good guys. But here's the problem. Well, I'll say Al Sharpton's been doing this long enough to know exactly how to steer that ship. But here's the problem. Not everybody's playing along anymore. Some people are starting to call it out directly. Not vague, not subtle. Straight to his face, and actually calling for a debate.
Hi, Leo 2.0 here, a big-time Trump supporter. Can someone do me a favor? Can someone get in touch with Reverend Al Sharpton and tell him that Leo Terrell would love to debate him on the recent Supreme Court ruling on the Voting Rights Act? You see, I think he's lying to the American people. I don't think he's telling the truth. I think he's playing the race card. So how about a debate between Leo Terrell, 35 years as a civil rights attorney, I know the law, versus shakedown Reverend Al Sharpton, who has played the race card and is more upset that he can no longer play the race card. So I'm willing to debate him. We'll have an independent moderator and we'll go back and forth, set amount of time for each one to respond to the call of the question. Let's do it. Because I think your days are numbered. I think people like you, Jim Kleinberg, Hakeem Jeffries are dinosaurs who prey on Black Americans, trying to intimidate and scare them, claiming that racism still exists in the same manner it existed 65 years ago. This is 2026, Al Sharpton. It is not 1955, Al Sharpton. Accept my challenge to debate me, unless you're afraid, unless you know you don't want to be exposed as a phony, as a fraud. I'll be waiting. I'm not going anywhere. I challenge you to a debate. 1 hour. God bless America.
Wow.
God bless President Trump.
Hey, front row seats to go see that. That right there, that's pressure. Because it's one thing to speak into a studio. You know, it's one in the studio, right? It's another thing when somebody says, cool, let's sit down, let's go line for line. Law for law. Notice how the invitation never really gets accepted. I don't think it will. Now you see why I had to play the first couple of clips again. Because when the conversation can't be controlled, the messaging usually just don't hit the same. And that's when people start asking a bigger question. How long has this thing been running on autopilot? Now we're going to take another flashback clip right here, y'all.
These Democrats, and I'm sorry to say this, I'm not trying to be racist, but they hate Black people. These are the same people who fought to keep slavery in. These are the same people who built the KKK. These are the same people who hated us from the beginning. The Republican Party is the party of the blacks. Blacks free, the Republican Party is the only party that the black people actually assisted in finding. But all of that history has been torn away. People say, oh, there was this big switch. There was never a big switch. There was never a big switch. So the same Democrats who hated Black people from the beginning are the same ones who hate us now. And they use our cause. How did Black Lives Matter turn into something about LGBTQ? When blacks really don't support that. We're conservative. We're really not about that. Not only that, we don't support abortion. We're about workers. But this is the black culture. Not only that, we're not about feminism. No, we're not. Black women marry their husbands and respect their husbands. That's what we're on. We're not on this, oh, I do what I want. We don't do that. That's not our community. These Democrats, and I'm sorry to say this, I'm not trying to be racist.
People can debate history all day. That's not even a part that stands out right here for me. What stands out is the frustration, that feeling of, wait, we've been riding with this for how long, and what has really changed for us? Because at some point, these slogans stop working. At some point, people start checking the results. And when that happens, the messaging is only going to get louder, more emotional, more aggressive. And that's definitely where this next part comes in for sure. Because now it's not just about what's being said, it's about what's being encouraged.
I'm so upset because I had to disrupt the House proceedings yet again because they were just trying to push through illegally drawn maps.
No. She said, I had to disrupt the proceedings because what they were trying to do was take away the black power, right? That doesn't empower black folks. It just empowers black politicians. She believes it. These are the women y'all got to choose from. These are the women that are young girls. This is what they learn, that rebellious behavior, because those are the ones that get highlighted and celebrated within the Democrat Party and within the community. That type of behavior is labeled as bold and brave and trend-setting and empowering. The other day I saw a Sherry Shepherd show. She had Jasmine Crockett on there actually bragging on her atrocious behavior and the way she conducted herself in Congress. This is the reason why Democrats put women out on the forefront, black women out on the forefront like this, is because this is who they want you to be. Because if they can make you like this, then they know there's no chance in hell that we'll be able to restore the family. Because our own men look at that behavior and they're like, nope, she a whole headache. She would embarrass this whole family. I wouldn't be able to defend that. It's unladylike. It's classless. It's ghetto. It's ridiculous. So if they can get all of us act like her, it serves more than one purpose. One, they think that it gets them the attention that they need, the improper attention in terms of calling it racism, and it's not racism. But then this has social and cultural implications for the black community because these are the women that they elevate. And they are subconsciously telling you that these are the women, this is how we want you to act. And then our men are like, if this is how they want y'all to act, this explains why we don't want to deal with y'all. Because we don't want to build families with women who act like that. I don't want our children thinking that this is what womanhood. Is this supposed to be the example of womanhood that we're supposed to follow?
Yeah, that's a different kind of point right there. Not who's right, not who's wrong, but the kind of behavior, but what kind of behavior gets rewarded, rather. Because if the loudest, most chaotic reaction is what gets attention, that's what people are going to keep doing. You don't have to agree with what she's saying to see what she's pointing at. And if you think she's reaching, let me show you exactly what she's talking about in real time. Y'all remember this?
Representative Persons Mullica has waived closed. The question now recurs on final passage of HB 1D. The clerk will unlock the machine and the members will proceed to vote. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? The clerk will lock the machine and announce the vote.
83 yeas, 28 nays, Mr. Speaker.
Show the bill passes. Read the next bill.
None on the desk, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, all of that for nothing. There it is. Not a think piece, not a breakdown, just raw, unfiltered, right in the middle of a vote. Yeah, man. That's what all this builds into. You start with silence, then deflection, then frustration, and you end with a bullhorn in a room full of lawmakers. And somehow people are still acting like everything's normal. At some point, people start arguing about who's speaking and start paying attention to who's not. Who shows up when it's easy and who disappears when it's not. Because consistency, that's the part you can't fake forever. And right now, a lot of people are getting exposed without anybody even saying their name. So, if you made it to the end of this video, I want you to write the word static. Yep, because that's exactly what's being created. Y'all be safe. Go check on somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Peace.